work it, fix it.
What's going on, everybody? This is Drew here. I want to welcome you all to a brand new episode of Phoenix Down. This is Phoenix Down 105.3. I think that's what it is. But yeah, we are continuing our playthrough of Yakuza Like a Dragon. Today I have with me Matt.
Hello.
And yeah, it's been a couple weeks. Matt, you ran into an issue with a boss fight that just kept giving you some trouble.
Yeah, I had one issue that sent me on about a 3-hour detour to level up and get some gear and all of that. That took a lot of time to get the money I needed to get that gear too. So that was a slightly unexpected difficulty wall. Maybe I could have just pushed through it, but after losing twice, I just said, you know what, I'm not where I need to be right now. Let me shore that up.
Right. So I do want to talk about that because obviously there is story beats to talk about here, but I do want to talk about how we're going along with not only gear but leveling up and that kind of thing. Because I found a couple of things that have helped me as well, because I did some grinding as well. So I didn't make it as far as you did. We were going to play through chapter 11. Unfortunately, I got stuck in a underground dungeon. I was thinking I can go another leg of this dungeon and see if I can get some better, crafting materials or maybe level up. And then that turned into, you've got to go 3 levels and also have a big boss fight at the end of it. And I did not make it to the end of chapter 11, unfortunately, but that's okay. We got a lot to talk about. So we ended with the beginning of chapter 9, where we were basically making our deductions. The governor is Ryo Aoki, and Kasuga is like, that is totally the young master. That is the young master Arakawa.
Which I still find funny because at the end of where I've played, they do a little bit of one-on-one talking.
Yep.
And you get some flashbacks, and even seeing them in the proximity of seeing Ryo Aoki, and then 10 seconds later seeing the young master, I'm like, that doesn't look like the same person.
It doesn't look like the same person. It truly does not.
Which I just still find funny because half the other characters in this game look like they are the same person.
Right.
So I don't know. I still feel like maybe Kasuga's just got a brain damage. I don't know. Apparently not, but
no. Yeah, but so yeah. After seeing all of that, we do get the control of Kasuga again, and we're basically just tasked with, let's see how the city's handling the Omni invasion, and it doesn't seem like there's much as far as the Omni invasion goes until we get the phone call from the madam of the Soapland that we had originally got hired for. She calls us. What's that?
It's Hamako.
Hamako? Yeah, you know better than I do. She calls us and is like, hey, I need you guys to come over here. We go over there. And look who showed us up. It's Bleach Japan. Bleach Japan's there. And we start to realize, these Bleach Japan people are not just Bleach Japan people. They're also Omni Alliance people. And they're being led by the dude who, I can't remember his name. He was part of the Yakuza clan that was running the old folks' home and killing people.
Was it the Seryu clan?
It was the Seryu clan, but I can't remember the guy's name. I don't know what his name is. The guy with the big jaw.
I was going to say I thought the head of the Bleach Japan here was Totsuka, but I don't think that was the guy with the big jaw.
No. If you remember, he was with. Remember he slapped the madam. Yeah, he was the Seryu clan guy that was running the old folks home. So it's not being led by this mob, is being led by him. So it seems like he has turncoated. He is now working with the Omni Alliance. Now that there's big turmoil in the Seryu clan, and now that the secret's out that they were, basically the stalemate wasn't really a stalemate kind of thing. They're kind of working together, and everybody's like, screw this alliance now. I'm not going with them. So we beat those guys up. Oh man, from there, I can't remember exactly. I think that's when the Omni started going after Gomi Jewel.
So I think we get a call and we head to the Gomi Jewel hideout
and pretend to be protesters. Yeah. And that's where we run into our next boss fight, which is a Seryu clan officer. Not Seryu clan, Omni Alliance officer. Works for the Arakawa. I don't know what his name is, but I love his voice actor. He is hamming it up, and he's got like this hardcore like Bronx accent.
The guy in the wrecking ball.
Yeah, the guy in the wrecking ball.
Yeah.
And so we have to fight the wrecking ball because they're about to just use it to ram into the Gomi Jewel hideout. So we fight the wrecking ball, and it's a lot like that fight in the underground that we had with that guy with the bulldozer.
Yoda, that's his name.
Yoda?
Ichiyoda.
Yeah. But after beating him, I didn't find this fight too difficult, but after beating him, he thinks he kills us because he uses the wrecking ball and he thinks he smashed us. But we were able to escape kind of comically by holding up a bunch of signs and just walking away.
Like protesters.
Yeah. And we find, we get basically a present from the Gomi Jewel. Sing Hong, what's his name? The guy who eventually joins our party next. Jun Gi-han.
Yeah, the white-haired guy.
The white-haired guy.
Yeah.
He's like, I got a present for you, and he tells us to meet him across the street. We go over there, and they give us a present of, this is the entrance to the residential area.
Secret entrance that nobody knows about.
Yeah, that nobody knows about, and you must be very well respected to be able to enter here. Nobody just comes in here. So we enter in through there. We make it to the surveillance room area, and Omni Alliance are knocking at the door. And they're like, okay, we have no choice. We have to destroy all this evidence of the counterfeiting. So they make the decision to burn it all down. And it's also going to be like, well, this is also going to destroy our home. We will have nowhere to go. But there's nothing else we can do. If the Omni Alliance get their hands on this, they will be able to pin this to everything. So they burn it down, or they start the fire, and we got to hold off the Omni Alliance. Well, with the Omni Alliance, here come a few people. The guy that we beat up in the wrecking ball, he's there. And they also bring in a well-known friend of ours. Namba's there. And we have to have a boss fight with those two.
Yeah. And so it wasn't very far into this play session. This is the fight that I got stuck on.
Yeah. And what was the issue? Was it Namba? Was Namba doing the damage to you?
Nanba wasn't too bad. Whenever he was active, his flame breath was annoying, but
Right.
I was able to keep him charmed for the most part.
You were using Psycho's charm?
Yeah, her first attack that she has, it's like a
Right.
three hit special attack that often leaves characters charmed, and he seemed to be reasonably susceptible to it. I think almost every time I did it, he
Right.
would stop attacking and just be in love. So I was able to do that, and there was the Bleach members were calling backup, which in and of itself wasn't terrible, but Ishioda basically just his hits were so hard that, you know, and the fact that he would counter attack, it felt like he was attacking, even though it would be a 4-on-1. I felt like he was getting in as many or more attacks than we were because of all the counter attacks, and I just couldn't do it, even though I was group healing almost every single round, and I've got 3 people just pummeling him. I couldn't get him down.
So at this point, you did not have a fourth party member, correct?
I did. I had Eri, but I hadn't leveled her up at all. So she was almost always a one-hit death.
Right.
So I had her. And that was kind of why I was like, you know, obviously I need to go do some grinding because I've got one character who almost isn't contributing at all. You know, doing almost no damage. So, you know, it didn't take long for me to be like, well, I don't even feel prepared for this. I don't feel like I'm prepared and just getting overrun. I'm just clearly underprepared.
Right. So I did not lose at this fight. It was rough though. I will give you that. But there's a couple of things. So I obviously had Eri before you did, and her little thumbtack spread that she uses.
That's one of my favorite.
It can do some damage to. Yeah, you can do some damage to dudes because they always start bunched up, and that will hit everybody.
And I don't know if she's got like priority or whatever, but she always goes first in my group.
She has she has high speed. Yeah. So she's really quick. So I already had her. I had her basically. She was probably a level below everybody else in the party. So she was definitely helping me out. But the biggest thing for me, and the thing that I mentioned to you, and the thing I will mention to everybody, Adachi. Adachi, as the enforcer, has learned the ability Paralysis Prongs, where he walks up to a dude and takes him with what looks like a cattle prod and stabs them in the chest, shocks them, and then slams them down the ground. That is a guaranteed paralysis against the enemy and does about 500 hit points of damage.
Yep. When you first mentioned it, I was like, oh, I'm already able to charm. This isn't going to be that much better. And then I got that. I went through and I made him an enforcer. I spent a lot of time just roaming around, beating people up, leveling him up. And getting back to this fight, man, that was powerful because I think Ishioda is also weak to electricity.
Yes.
So it wrecked him.
Yes. So that was what I did. I shocked him. He was paralyzed for a full round, and then I worked on Namba and made short work of them. Adachi is like one of my all-stars. Like, I don't care how many party members I get, Adachi will always be there.
He's pretty critical with that heavy damage, and
he's a tank too, dude.
Yeah.
He's the only character currently right now where I'm at right now. He has almost 600 hit points. He has like 200 more hit points than anybody else in my squad.
Wow. How was he so high?
The dude, I think I've leveled him up.
What level are you?
I'm not entirely sure. I would say mid to late 30s.
Yeah, I've got everybody in my party is 33, I think.
Okay, yeah. But he's just a tank. I love it. He's really, really good. But yeah, after beating that, so tell me, all right, before we get into that, tell me, how did you grind? What was your So what adjustments did you make, and then how did you go about gaining those levels?
Yeah. I mean, it was easy for Eri because she was under leveled, had no gear. So, I basically said, look, I obviously need gear. Everybody needs an upgrade. I haven't really put money into upgrading their gear or their weapons. So I was like,
Right.
that's the first thing I need to do. So I spent a lot of time with the business management game.
Yep.
I probably had two or three short sessions where that's all I did, and I don't know how much money I ended up making from it, but I was able to. I think I had just gotten to rank 100 before I got stuck here. So I did a number of sessions, got down to the next target of 45, got all the money there, or target of 50, and then I got it down to about 45, I think, after that. So it ended up being at least 6 or 7 payouts. So probably pushing 1 million yen.
Okay.
Um, then I spent a lot of time just going from shop to shop, buying what I needed to buy.
Sure.
In the process, I spent a lot more time doing additional SOS fights.
Okay. Yeah.
So probably another 5 or 6 of those, which was another 150K
Yeah.
or so. Then I spent a lot of time with, I think her name's Sumire, the lady who has the upgrade shop.
Yes.
So I pumped some money into getting her shop up to level 2. Was able to make some new gear there. Was able to upgrade the gear, and just going across the map from shop to shop, I was able to get everybody outfitted with the best weapons. Getting into extra fights in the streets, which again maybe are probably not the fastest way to level up, but it's supplemental levels, and also the money from them is not terrible.
So let me ask you this: as far as gear goes, like weapons, right? This was obviously when you decided to change people's jobs, right?
Yeah, so I had Eri starting somewhat fresh, and I had Adachi needing to level up his Enforcer class.
Okay, so you switched Adachi to Enforcer. Did you do anything else? Did you change Kasuga, or I
No,
guess you kept the idol?
yeah, I kept the idol, and I looked at Eri whether I should change her class, but it seems like while there are options, none of them are really open yet. She can be
Yeah,
like a Madam of the Night, or definitely saw some whips and other things that she could use in that role, but I kept her here. Actually, one of my biggest steps forward was at that shop making her a metal ruler, because up until that point she was doing almost no damage. 20,
yeah.
30 points of damage. I get her this metal ruler, all of a sudden she's doing like 120 rather than 20.
Metal ruler, or is it a box cutter?
The metal ruler. Like
Huh.
I had started out with a couple of box cutters, but now she's got, ruler and tacks and different desk items. But yeah, it's a
Gotcha.
metal ruler, and that was the highest damage weapon I could find for her.
What about Kasuga? What'd you give him?
I still have his bat. I thought about trying to upgrade the hero's bat, but one of the things I still need to grind, I guess, is I need to go bug hunting, because a lot of the upgrades require various moths and spiders and butterflies and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Golden scorpions, and I don't have a lot of those, so I was no longer able to upgrade that. So I just have some metal bat of some sort.
Gotcha. I gave Kasuga the fire stick, the flame. It's like it's like a wooden plank with a fire. It's always fire, like on fire. So he does fire damage. So I run into a lot of enemies that are weak to fire. So I just left him with that. I've got it up to +2 now.
Saw that one. I went with one I thought that had higher base stats, but other than the hero's bat that I assume you can upgrade a ton,
Yeah.
I don't really know how much you can upgrade some of the other stuff. So I hope I didn't lock myself into a weapon that is good now but is weak later. not a
Well,
great
I
feeling.
guess you could always go back and check it and see. But Adachi, I did finally get him a better shield. I got him like a +1 shield now. Um, and then Psycho, I've got her. It looks like a giant like ice cream bar. It's and it does ice damage.
Yeah, I saw that.
I got that the +2. It's called a bastard soda. That's what's called, bastard soda.
It's funny.
And then
I hadn't done anything with Kasuga. I hadn't even been using the hero bat because very early on I splurged on a weapon for him that was like a giant massager.
yeah, I was using that, but I've got so many other items that are way stronger than that now.
Yeah, I do now, so it's in the past, but I was using that for a lot of the game so far.
Yeah, but yeah. But after, well, all right. So back to that. After beating that boss fight, the Omni basically retreat because they're getting the hell out of there because it's on fire, and Namba sitting there realizing I've screwed everybody over. I'm a piece of crap, and the Gomi Jewel's like, look, we have your brother. Your brother is safe. He's been in our, residential area this whole time, and he's not being held prisoner. And he's like, well, I want to see my brother. And they're like, okay, fine. You'll be able to see your brother, but you need to stop working with the Omni Alliance with this. And Casca has a nice little talk with him, basically like, you're our friend. It doesn't matter if you betrayed us. You were trying to get with your brother, and that's okay in our book. And I want you to join us again. And he doesn't join us right away. He joins us in the next chapter. He basically is like, I want to go see my brother, and disappears.
Always a lot of. It feels like almost an inability to commit with Nanba.
Yeah.
Right? Like even before when he was like leaving, it was like, I can't believe you still call me a friend. I really appreciate that, but I'm still going to betray you. And now it's like I'll work with you, and I'm still happy that you call me a friend, but I'm not all in. So there's he keeps straddling that line of support versus I'm done and I'm going my own way.
Yeah.
At some point, I assume he'll have his full change of heart and be like, I never could have done what I thought I could do alone. Now that I realize the importance of teamwork and family and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
He's always, it's always right there on the tip of his tongue, I feel, but then he doesn't do it or say it.
But I can't remember how. So in the beginning of chapter 10 is very long because it's all about interrogating the main leader of Bleach Japan, Agasara. I'm guessing he was he there?
Yeah, I think they took him prisoner.
Yeah. So we're basically interrogating him. And Agasara basically confirms everything that we've kind of already deduced. It seems that at some point while we were locked up, while Ichiban was locked up, that Arakawa wanted his son to basically infiltrate the government. And he did so by starting this Bleach Japan campaign as a private citizen, and showing the country how much he cared about, cleaning up the streets and stuff like that. He was able to get elected, and he moved up the ranks, right? So that way, Arakawa, who is a crime lord, could then have somebody on the inside, basically. So we're looking at kind of like The Departed, if you remember that movie. Got somebody on the inside.
Movie.
Yeah. Which is it's a remake of a trilogy from Korea, I believe, called Infernal Affairs. I think was what it was called. I could be wrong.
That's a good name. Nice pun.
But anyway, so which we kind of figured that. We're like, okay, so why is the son of a Yakuza leader wanting to become part of the Japanese government? Well, it makes sense because that way he's got somebody on the inside. The crime syndicate can now kind of run the entire country, change laws, make them turn blind eye to certain things, that kind of stuff. But he also gives us a little bit more information. So we had mentioned before there was the one guy, the guy who the old man who was in the government. I guess he was in the Senate. I don't know Japan's government stuff. He was like a representative or a senator or something like that for Japan for a long time, and he was wise to the whole counterfeiting thing since basically pre-World War II or post-World War II stuff. I can't remember the guy's name, but they were basically getting him out of here so that way we could use that as leverage. You have people, and we see this happen in real time as we're talking about this. We're seeing Rio Aoki as the governor talking to the higher ups, basically saying, we know that there was a counterfeiting, money laundering ring, and one of your guys in the Senate knew about it and was helping run it. I think we need to disband the Senate, or disband whatever it's called. So he was using that to basically become the big man in the government. Like I don't know. I mean, they have a president, but it's not. He wasn't talking to the president. Who was he talking to?
Yeah, I don't remember.
But it was somebody higher than him, basically. And he's like, well, nobody's going to listen to you guys who has somebody in your cabinet who is running a counterfeiting ring. So it's either step down or I just come out and tell everybody. So that's what they were using it for. After the interrogation, we get attacked by a bunch of Omni guys. And the Omni, after the fight, we realize, they have taken the Bleach Japan leader.
Oops.
I guess
Well,
rescued him.
Yeah,
I know. Rescued him, and I say in air quotes, because obviously the next day we find out that he's dead. So it looks like they were trying to just hush him up a little bit. But that's the beginning of chapter 10, and the rest of chapter 10 is basically we're going to run into a whole bunch of people that we've already ran into before. We're going to run the gauntlet at the end of this chapter. And I was like, holy crap, this is a lot.
It's right after the fight with Bleach Japan, when we leave the homeless camp. That's when we get Jun Gihan, right?
Yes, he joins us. The party.
He's like handed to us because we thought Song Kui was going to join. And then she's like, no, I'm too busy. I got, the Gomi Jewel's been handed over. I've got a lot of work to do. She's like, why don't you take Jun Gihan? And they're like,
I will,
well, definitely.
I will gladly take your personal assassin.
Yeah.
Which
not used yet at all. Because
you haven't used him?
No, because I've gotten Eri so, powerful. She's my weak link. She's my fourth in line. So I feel like I need Psycho for the healing, and I feel like I need Adachi for the power. So Aries really the only one I feel like I might swap out, but I've gotten her so powerful with her metal ruler that I don't see a need at the moment to use someone else.
So I did switch out. Jungi Han has his class, his starting class is Hitman. And once you get him some pretty good weapons, he will wreck dudes. So his abilities are not elemental; they're more of physical attacks. So he will punch guys, right? That's his main attack. Is just he'll do like a 4-hit combo, like pow 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 pow. But his special abilities are either slashing, or he just straight up pulls out guns and starts shooting dudes.
Does he
And
induce bleeding?
he can induce bleeding, but he almost every enemy I have ran against is weak against guns. And he has a rapid fire ability where he pulls out 2 guns and just shoots them, and that does some damage.
Nice.
Yeah, no, he's relatively good. He became kind of a staple in my party for a little while there.
Are you still
Obviously,
using him? Who's your party? Who's in your party now?
Currently, right now, my party is Kasuga, Adachi, Saeko, and I have Jungi Han. I did switch out with our next party member we're about to get, and leveled him up a little bit. And then another party member shows back up again. I now have, I think, every party member at this point that I think that you can get. I could be wrong. But, yeah. But Jungi Han's pretty good.
I guess my biggest concern is that we lose somebody at some point, and then I need to sub in someone that's underpowered. So I do feel like I want to grind a little bit.
So there's two ways that you can make that a lot easier. Obviously, you can switch people out however you want. But the big thing is, and this is something I suggest everybody do, go back to Survive Bar and talk to everybody. Because one of the things you unlock when you unlock your relationship with them is they earn more experience points when they're not in your active party. And if you get them to the highest rank, which I already have Adachi at, he gets the same amount as everybody else does.
Wow.
So, yeah, if you can get everybody to level 5, it's basically like they're in your party. But yeah, after that, gosh, we do get the whole. We hear about on the news that the Bleach Japan leader has been killed. So we're like, okay, maybe we should go. No, that's in chapter 11, isn't it? Yeah, that's chapter. I'm skipping ahead here.
Our focus now is to go save Zhao.
Yeah, save Zhao, because we get word that Zhao is being held prisoner by the Omni Alliance. Seems like they've kind of congregated in I guess Little China or Chinatown. And I did a lot of side questing here, because this is when I stopped and you were like, I'm stuck at this boss fight. So I spent the past week basically just like doing a lot of side questing stuff here. One of the things I did learn, and I'll bring this up, was that I went back into the underground. So when you go back to the underground, the game tells you before you go in, hey, you can't just leave when you come in here. And there's save points periodically through it. When you make it past that first round where you can then leave the underground and come back, if you continue going, you're going to run into a specific enemy. They're kind of rare. I would say maybe out of the if you had 20 fights down there, maybe 3 of these fights had this guy in it. They look like cavemen, and they are resistant to everything. In fact, every time you hit them, it doesn't matter what it is, it only does 1 damage. But they only have probably about 30 hit points. But they do tons of damage. I'm talking like take out a half a health bar if they hit you. And if you hit them too many times and let them just stand there, they will run away from the fight. But if you can beat them, you are guaranteed a level up.
Wow.
I can't... Invested something. It's... Hang on. It is... Like a Dragon. Invested Vagabond. If you can beat an invested Vagabond, you get like 12,000 experience points.
Wow. And how many? So I'm assuming you've beaten quite a few if you're a good 5 or 6 levels ahead.
So the invested Vagabond, or it may be infested Vagabond is a rare type enemy that appears as at the homeless settlement. After the player defeats an infested Vagabond, the members will receive at least 70,000 experience points. However, the enemy only takes 1 damage. Battling infested Vagabonds is a useful way to train your party from the middle phase up to the end game. So yeah, I fought 3 of those guys and leveled up 3 times. Like just from that,
you were able to get both of. You were able to kill all 3 of them, or just one of them?
I was able to kill. I was able to kill 3 of them. I fought multiple. Many of them ran away. But yeah, if you're able to beat them, you that's almost a guaranteed level up for all your party members.
What's your strategy? Is it to don't hit them early until they're the only one left, and then just try and pummel them?
The best strategy is to use all your abilities that hit multiple times. So Jun Gihan has that rapid fire where he shoots a guy. That's at least probably 10 hits right there.
Dachi, I guess he doesn't have it anymore. He had that one nice attack early on that was like a heavy beatdown, where if you got them, it would be like 8 or 10 hits.
Right.
With one special. That seems like it would have been really useful.
Yeah, that's the best way to handle those guys. They are going to run away. It just happens sometimes. But yeah, those are... When I ran into those guys, I was like, wow, this guy's taking no damage. What the hell? But then I beat him, and I was like, whoa, I just leveled up. And you don't level up fast in this game at all. So I was like, okay, that's that. I had to look him up. I was like, okay, yeah, this is a special type of enemy that if you can kill him, it's hard to kill him, but if you can, it's worth it. So
I may go back and do some leveling soon because, I breezed. I spent so much time leveling up to close out Chapter 9 that all of Chapter 10 was pretty breezy. Didn't spend much time into it. And I'm into 11, but I want to get a few levels higher. I've got all the gear I think I need at the moment, but if that's an easy way to level up, I'll probably do that so that there's no hiccups in the next couple chapters. Also, now I need to find a whole lot of money.
Yeah. So have you hit that part?
It's right at the beginning of
12?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't got there yet. But so yeah, going into Chinatown, I have some fights there, and we have 2 boss fights that we have to do. One with our good friend Mabuchi, and the other one with our old friend with the wrecking ball. Yeah, he doesn't have a wrecking ball. Yeah, he doesn't have a wrecking ball this time.
Tiger.
Yeah, there's a tiger too. Yeah, I forgot about that. We had to fight the tiger. And I got some. I think I found it in this like little dungeon, the restaurant. There's some knuckles. That's what the hitman uses, Jungihan, and it was fire knuckles. So now I got another guy doing fire damage, and
Nice.
it seemed to be work out pretty well for me. Also, the tiger is very susceptible to gunfire.
Yeah, and that's what he does: is gunfire and fire.
Yeah, pretty much. So I just kind of machine gunned that tiger to death.
The fire damage do burning over time after, kind of like the bleeding does.
So that's the issue. I don't think, while it's fire damage, I don't think it has the ability to set somebody on fire.
Okay.
I think only fire magic, like Namba's like fire breath and stuff like that, will do it. But yeah, we fight the tiger. We fight Mabuchi. Mabuchi's the same exact fight as it was previously. And then both fights were basically the exact same. Namba joins us after during the second fight, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he comes back, and they even mention that he seems more stronger. I guess he's been leveling up too.
Yeah, they talk about that. He's got a 3rd level pyro skill, I think.
Yeah, and I used that, and that did some pretty good damage. Both these fights were relatively easy for me.
They were for me at this point as well.
Yeah, and that's when we beat all those guys. We also meet the last captain of the Omni Alliance, the former boxer, heavyweight boxer. We don't fight him. He kind of walks away. I know Ichiban's like, you're going to regret not killing us. And then, Namba's like, if you guys will have me, I'm coming back. I can't believe you guys want me around. But he reluctantly joins our party again. And Zhao, he's there. We're like, okay, well, where's Zhao? And Zhao just kind of appears behind us, beat up. He's like, yeah, I'm here. They beat the crap out of me, but I'm all right. And after leaving that area, Zhao basically is like, I'm stepping down as the leader of the Chinese mafia. What was it called? Liumang. He's like, nobody's going to listen to me anymore, especially after this coup. So he doesn't join us then, though, does he?
No, not then.
Yeah, he joins us later on. So that's our final party member, I should say. I think that's our final party member. I don't think there's anybody else. I could be wrong, though.
For the game. Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, after that, the next day is when Zhao joins us. And that's when we learn of the death of the leader of the of Bleach Japan. So we decide to go to his funeral. And none other than Ryo Aoki is speaking at the funeral because he was good friends with him. Even though he probably had him killed. And we're like, okay, we got to talk to him. We got to get in there and talk to him. Well, nobody's letting him in. So they're like, okay, well, he's leaving the funeral. Maybe we can cut him off at his car or something and talk to him there. Well, no, they're using like a private parking garage. It's underground. So we have to sneak in. And in doing so, we run into some of his Secret Service agents. And Casca's like, yeah, you guys are obviously Omni Alliance. Because I think it was the way they were talking to him. I can't remember what they said. Like, take a walk.
Yeah, he's like,
Jack.
What are you from? Kenzai?
No, you're from Kansai? He's like, so what? And it's like, sounds like you're from Omni Alliance. It's like, how would the public like knowing that their governor is being protected by Yakuza?
Like that little
And
back and
so,
forth as well when the guy's like, "Why would you assume? You can't make that kind of assumption." And Ichiban's like, "Well, you also assumed we were trespassers when we came down here, so you can't blame me for assuming when you're assuming." I'm like, it's a very like weird argument to get into with someone that's about to attack you.
yeah, but we beat those guys up, and the van drives off with Ryo Aoki. But as they're about to drive off, we jump in the way, and one of the Secret Service guys beats Casca over the head. Adachi jumps in, and the van stops and pulls up, and Ryo Aoki gets out, and it's like, I am so sorry for what my security has been doing to you. Please accept my formal apologies. I'm going to have a nice talk with all of them. And as he's helping up Kasuga, he tells him, meet me at this place. Come alone tonight. And this pushes him away, and then continues with his little political spiel of like my sincerest apologies and stuff. And I remember Kasuga looked up at him and called him young master, and he made kind of like a little smirk. So he definitely remembers him.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a twist right here where he was going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about at all. I'm not that person.
Yeah.
And then I was going to be like, I knew it wasn't him. But that never went there because, he did have that smirk and he said, meet me. So definitely setting up whatever the next phase of their relationship looks like.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's where I stopped because, like I said, right before going into the underground garage, I've got enough time to go through this little underground area and level up again. Oh, no, I wasn't. There was 3 levels of it. And then at the end, I had to fight a giant Roomba. I'm not kidding. It is literally a giant Roomba that has 2 arms that you have to fight, and the Roomba itself. Take out the arms first, because the arms will do fire damage and shock damage. So take them out first.
I feel like
and
the
it's
thing
also
that's gotten me the most has been fear. I've had fear induced on me a lot that has been problematic for me to be able to keep fighting.
Yeah, that will definitely cripple a party if you're not careful, more than anything else. But yeah, also that Roomba, the giant Roomba, is level 40, so brace yourself.
Oh wow! What level were you at when you beat it?
36 or 37, and it killed 2 of my party members. So I had to switch them out. So
you can't do that mid-fight, can you?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
You can do that at any time. You can do that with party members that are still alive or knocked out. So if they're knocked out, you can, but it wastes a turn. So whoever, if it's that person's turn, you can choose the etc. option, and you can tag out, and then you can tag out whoever you want with the other person. But whoever you were playing as for that turn loses that turn.
I always sometimes forget that when you're walking around, all, let's say, 7 party members are with you. Right? You're only ever seeing the 4 that are in your active party, but sometimes I just forget the other 3 are actually there, and I just assume they're hanging out in that hideout drinking.
There you go. Have you got any more pound mates? Have you done any more of those?
No, I haven't. I've tried to convince a lot of people to work with me, and every time I try to pay them, it's like every character's got a little cash sign by their silhouette. They always tell me that I don't have enough charm or charisma or something else, so most of my searching for people has not panned out, and I haven't also gotten any pound mates.
Okay. I got another one. It's a dominatrix. And then I've done the sub story where I'm giving people this really spicy kimchi. and it makes them run fast. Have you done any of this?
I haven't done that one.
It's ridiculous. So you run into a guy who's selling kimchi, and he's like, "Nobody buys my kimchi," and we buy some of it and eat it, and it burns our mouth so bad that we just run down the block. And he's like, "Here, you can just keep it." So now we're running around, and we find people who need inspiration. So there is a track runner who's trying to beat his record. He's like, "Here, try this kimchi," and he runs down the street, and he's like, "Wow, that's the best stuff ever." And I ran into this old woman who she can't cross the street because she's too slow. So we give her some, and she runs across the street really fast. And there was this one girl who she was going off to college, and her senpai, who she has a crush on, was leaving for college, and she didn't have courage, so he gave her some kimchi, and she's like, "This is the most disgusting stuff ever," but it gave me courage. It's the way they run. It's like the animation. It looks like a stock animation, but like sped up 4 times. It just looks stupid, and it's so dumb because Kasuga's carrying around this giant, like, it looks like a cauldron of kimchi with him.
That's funny.
It's so ridiculous. But yeah, I did that. And I did I got the pound mate for the dominatrix. There's a guy, you have to fight him. So this guy is a masochist who he can't find, he can't find anything that gives him pain. So he just beats himself up, and he asks us to beat him up. And then we run into a dominatrix who, thinks she's out of her prime. And so we bring him
that one.
What now?
I think I did that one.
You did that one? Okay. Yeah.
I don't remember how it ended though.
The
one where was it the lady was being cornered by all the young girls?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. If you bring her to the Mr. Masochist guy, she eventually becomes somebody that you can call.
Pound mate?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I finished it then. I did the intro to that one, but I haven't gone back and introduced the two of them.
Yeah, you do that. And then I'm trying to imagine if I did anything else. I did a few side stuff. I can't remember though.
Saw a little throwback to a previous game where I was walking into a park and there was a guy or I saw a figure on the ground and I picked it up and it was that figure of Onomichio. If you remember when we had to dress up as him, and he was I guess it was from Yakuza 6.
6, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Kiryu has to dress up as the mascot.
Yep. Yeah, little fisherman style outfit.
Yeah. There's some pretty good nods in there.
Yeah, and I thought it was funny that they went through the whole thing again. They're like, isn't it adorable? It's got a little ramen bowl as a hat, and they went through every like characteristic of it.
Right.
And Ichiban's just like, no, that's not that's kind of dumb.
Yeah. Oh, but that's where I stopped. If you want to continue talking about it, we can, or we can wait until the next recording.
Probably save it off. There's some big things that we can talk through, so I'd probably save that as the starting point for the next one.
Gotcha. Okay. We do have an email. It comes from Dustin. It's titled "Things That Bug Me." It says, "Hey guys, I want to talk about some things I don't like or just bug me about this game. When comparing equipment stats, why in the hell is the color representing an increase the stat red? That is a good question."
Yeah, in our company we've had people have that talk and be like, "Look, it's pretty standard. Green is good, red is bad, yellow is somewhere in the middle. You can't flip that around. It's just weird."
Right. So I think I look at it as like hot and cold, I guess. I don't know.
Because it's blue, it's a decrease, right?
Yeah, blue is decrease. Red means better. Or no, red means better. Did they not get the memo that literally every RPG red is the decrease in stats? I have to do a double take each time. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. When running around town and you get into a random fight, I sometimes would turn auto battle on so I could look at my phone or something else. The thing is, auto battle sucks in this game. They use up your abilities and burn through your items. I wish they would just do normal attacks, since that's all I would need to get by if I even turned it on. So there is a way to change that. So at the auto battle, you can select to go all out, which means use everything you got, or don't use skills. That's what I got it set to. Set it to do not use skills, and they will just auto attack.
Seems better.
Yeah. I would be fine with the 4 core party members. Zhao and Jun don't feel like they belong with the group, and the hidden girl is fine. Honestly, the leader of the Gomijul would made a better party member, or the old lady running the brothel. Man, you would have a ragtag group then, wouldn't you? Forced grinding is the absolute worst. At the beginning of Chapter 12, right after I bought a bunch of gear for my team, you get hit with a required 3 million yen to progress. Luckily, you get a watch at the end of Chapter 11 that sells for 1 million, and after clearing out old weapon inventory and doing another hour or so of the business minigame, I had enough. I also heard the Kappa statue subquest gets you a lot of yen, but I never did it. You finally get over that hurdle just to turn into the infamous level spike. What the hell were they thinking? I'm level 33 and the next boss is level 50? Now, I don't mind grinding when I'm on my way somewhere or just exploring, but when you're right where you need to be in the story and the level gap is that big, I have to question the game design, since it frankly sours the entire game. Best thing to do is grind the arena, and it sucked. I probably spent 6 hours doing it, just going in, turning on auto battle. Guess it was good for one thing, while I played a different game on my Switch. Nice thing is when you die, you don't lose money or experience, and the arena has checkpoints every 5 levels, so you can pick up where you want to start. I usually looped floor 6 through 12 and would die, then restart. My core party is finally level 45, so next time I play, I'm going for the dungeon. I know there's
45.
items you can... Yeah. I know there's items you can get that increase XP gain, but I never went and hunted them down. Anyway, happy grinding, Dustin. So yeah, Chapter 12 is where the difficulty spike begins. And I think I'm kind of ready. I'm in my upper 30s right now. I get it. I'm probably gonna have to grind some, but I think I'll be okay with it.
It's at least worth a test. See if you can get there.
Yeah.
I'm sure I need to spend some time grinding.
I know for a fact. So I know all about this fight. I couldn't help it. I kind of spoiled myself. The boss fight consists of 2 different people. And I know for a fact that one of them is weak to fire. So luckily I have 2 party members currently using fire damage. So,
that's good to know.
Yeah.
I wonder if I should get Namba back in the fold.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. But they switched him.
Stick, though.
They switched him over to homeless person as his class, and I had him as a musician, and I had him pretty leveled up in musician. I don't know if I should switch back to it or stay with the homeless person.
What's he do as a musician? Because I've definitely found a few good guitars.
The musician, he does decent damage with the musician. The thing with musicians is the abilities are basically like status effects. He's good at buffing and debuffing. Which Sayako has a lot of good buffing and debuffing stuff too. So I don't know if that's going to be redundant.
True. Also, I never know if they stack necessarily. Although this game actually is pretty good about showing you what status effects you've got, right? As those little icons just above your character.
Yeah,
So
and they do a
that's
good job
actually
of
nice.
telling you, if you lost defense and it gets hit again, it's like the defense is extended, basically.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'll gauge it and see. May adjust my party. Probably, I'm definitely going to have to go upgrade some gear. So,
It's tough to upgrade gear when you got to save $3 million.
yeah, right. I've put a good amount in my ATM, so I think I've got probably close to $1 million in my ATM. And I apparently get a watch at the end of chapter 11 that I can sell for $1 million. So
that pawn shop.
Yep, I gotta go check out the pawn shop. But yeah, that's it for us. If you'd like to send an email, it is drew@ztgd.com. You can also tweet to us. I am at DMLFury. Matt is at REMGS, and the podcast itself is at ZTGD Phoenix Down. I guess I can go ahead and say it. We held a poll on what game we would play next. It's going to be a Halo game, and Halo Reach won by a staggering amount. So it looks like we're going to be doing Halo Reach after Like a Dragon. So there you go.
That'll be good.
I've never played Reach, so there you go. But yeah, that's it for us.
I remember it, but I remember enjoying it.
No, there you go. I am not the biggest Halo fan. I've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and very small parts of Infinite. I did play ODST, but I didn't finish it, and I never played Reach. So I'm down for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for us. Thank you all for listening. I really do appreciate it. Send some more emails in. I know we got some people playing along with us. We're getting close to the end of the game. I don't know if we'll actually beat it for this next recording. I would say probably not, depending on how much grinding we're going to have to do.
So I was going to say, we could beat it if there was no grinding, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to be possible because there's 15 chapters. So I don't know. We'll see. I highly doubt it, though. But until next time, though, I am Drew. And we are out of here. You guys have a great week, and we'll be back next week with more Yakuza Like a Dragon.